Hello and welcome back to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome to this beautiful fast charging park that we've been at for quite some time now in Munich. We have the Fiat 500e and we're going to do our usual 0 to 100% DC fast charging test. I'll run you through the testing procedures, tell you a little bit about the car, and then we'll get this thing plugged in and charging from 0 to full and log the curve. This is the new Fiat 500e, and unfortunately this car has not been announced to come to the US quite yet. Oh, and there goes our camera view. We'll get it up as soon as possible. Yes, it's just the cold temperatures make it pretty hard to stick the camera on, but Tijmen will do his best to make sure we don't lose any of the data. So charging up the 500e here, this car has about a 42 kilowatt hour pack. I believe that's usable. I think it's 44, 45 installed. We'll see how much we can stuff into it. Because it's cold outside, we've had to do a couple procedures to warm up this car like we always do. We drove the car quite extensively on the Autobahn, ripping it. And then of course we came here, we charged it up again on a DC charger, make sure it could accept full power, and then we ran it down to 0%. Once we got the car down to 0% with a warm battery, actually the process is what we do is drive them pretty hard, and then under 10% we actually drive them fairly easily. This way we try not to have the BMS get so confused with all the pack voltage being so low. So we gently drove it down to 0% and then immediately plugged it into this 300 kilowatt ENBW, or as the Germans say, ENBW, something like that. What do you think, Tijmen? Was that accurate?
Seems legit.
Seems legit. And and yeah, plugged it in and we're charging it up to 100%. This 500e costs about 34,000 euros. Let me show you inside really quick. It's quite a pleasant car. It looks really good. There is a combustion version of the 500e, but my understanding is this chassis is fully built to be electric from the ground up, and the fact that they put such a big battery in this thing is really impressive. So you can see here the screens. Of course, it's already charging now while I film this introduction. This particular car has 13,591 kilometers on it, so it's not a fresh battery. That's about, what, 8,000 miles, something like this. I usually try to find the freshest cars for these tests, but I think this is relatively new and it should do its best. It should do pretty well in our test and be representative of a brand new battery pack, or at least close to it for the charging curve. Inside's really cool. You can see this paint matched little piece here, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to see how well this car charges. So let's get it plugged in. Of course it already is, and we'll log the charging curve all the way from dead to full at this beautiful 20 stall installation. Oh, by the way, just to give you a little insight, the two stalls on the end both have a CHAdeMO, this one and that one, and also a Type 2 connector. So these have two CCS, a CHAdeMO, and a Type 2 22 kilowatt, might even be 43 kilowatt AC, pretty 44 kilowatt AC, pretty insane. The rest are all 300 kilowatt units that can be split. So if you're one car, you can get the full 300. If you're two cars, you can get maximum 150 kilowatts. Really impressive station underneath the solar canopy, ENBW. We reached out to them, but they didn't seem to want to work with us at all. They weren't interested in having us highlight their videos. We didn't even want anything. We're just like, can we make videos with your stuff? And they're like, no, we're not interested. Maybe a language translation issue. And now it's time to analyze the charging curve. Keep in mind, this video was shot a couple months ago when we spent our time in Munich, and I just hadn't had a chance to post it yet. Wanted to prioritize other videos that might be more relevant to our market, but hey, we still shot it and it's still interesting. And let us know in the comments if you think we should have 500e come to the US. The last generation was pretty cool. The new one's like a really actually good car. So I kind of wish it was here. It seems pretty neat. Let's hit the play button. So we're just about to plug in. Here we go. It takes a couple seconds to do a handshake. We're at 1% state of charge, right up to 70 kilowatts. Just literally maxing that thing out right away. Gotta love it. We're at 5% within 2 minutes or so. Now, my friend Tom just put up his lucid charging video today. Make sure you go and check that out. It's on a YouTube channel called Tom Malogny State of Charge. Had to move the camera around there a little bit. 71 kilowatts. Seems like the car's just requesting 200 amps. And then as pack voltage comes up, 358, 359 volts, it's just total power will be increasing. Forgive some of the shakiness there. 20 minutes or 20% comes in just under 7 minutes, which is pretty good. Again, this is a small city car, but then has a pretty big battery pack and actually charges fairly decently given what the car is designed for. You know, we recently tested Honda E right before we had this car, and also the Mach-E E, and this by far was the best charging of the bunch, factoring in range as well. So I was pretty impressed with this. Now we've gone down from our 200 amp request down to 180 amp or so, 183. We're sitting at 67, 68 kilowatts, 15 kilowatt hours in 15 minutes, maybe even more, 17 kilowatt hours in 15 minutes. Again, for a city EV, that's pretty good. So 50% comes in, 16 minutes. Wow. That's not bad. Now, keep in mind, that's not really stressing the packs that hard, but I think that's okay because a lot of these are going to be DC fast charged only, especially in Europe. Like in Munich where we were, there was not many opportunities for level 2 charging in comparison with DC fast charging. We met a lot of EV owners that are just out there and they're always plugging into a DC charger, and that's just how they go. So now we've tapered way down to 45 kilowatts, and it's just going to be a slow ride for the rest. So my recommendation is if you own a 500e and you're going on a road trip, charge it to 50, 55%, and then head to the next charger and do the charger hop. It's really a huge drop that it just comes down. Get a 120 amp request. I really love these ENBW units that show voltage and amps, and then of course do the math to add it to kilowatts for us. That's really awesome. On the right hand side of the screen, you can see it gives us percentage and kilowatt hours added to the car, and then the time. Keep in mind the amount of kilowatt hours that we're adding to the car is not necessarily what's making it into the battery pack. 80%, we're just about to hit it in 30 minutes. That's right on target. 29 minutes and a bit from 0 to 80. That's pretty awesome. Now, in the real world, we always say you're not really going to go 0 to 100% often, but you can, and here's what it would look like. And if you're curious about anything in between, you can time your 20 to 80 or 50 to 70. Now, in some high power charging cars, the rest of the curve will actually be based off of when you start. So if you start at 0% and it peaks high, then the rest of the curve might be bad. But then if you plug in at 20%, you might actually get a better curve later on. A lot of this plays into thermals and pack voltages. I don't think the 500e is one of these cars. Again, we're not really stressing the cars that hard. 13 kilowatts at 87%. At this point, I would be long gone. But still, we're under 40 minutes, and we're just about to hit 90% state of charge. Let's just say 90 comes in 40 minutes. That's not bad. Really not bad. Yeah, so look, I gotta say, I'm impressed with this little 500e. You can go back and watch my driving review of this vehicle. I had fun in it. Certainly it's not, I would say, as premium as like a Mini Cooper SE or one of those types of cars. Honda E was really a dream for me. I love that car. But I like this 500e. I like the European city EVs. I think they work well for that market. Again, I don't think it's a huge miss for the brand that Stellantis isn't bringing it over to the US market. But at the end of the day, cars are fun. That 500e was fun. It put a smile on my face. Definitely a lasting impression. And yeah, I'll let this little loop play out here. But if you're buying a 500e or you own one and you just want to see how it charges 0 to full, here's a little quick video for you. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll have more insane content coming next month on this channel. So many new exciting electric cars, many of which you have been asking for, will be right here on Out of Spec Reviews. And yep, the dog's over here. The office downstairs is a mess because we're in the process of moving some things over, but we appreciate you always watching. We'll let this play out. Should be about an hour and a bit, 0 to full. Really right on target for what I'd expect. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.